This tutorial is brought to you by Hey, what's up guys? My name is Josh Inobakure and welcome to Olufemi Tutorials. Hey, what's up guys? Josh here. First, number one, I'd like to thank you guys so much for sending all your video edits to olufemi.com, letting me give my feedback, a little bit of a critique. I want to say that while I didn't even get to finish going through all those videos, I actually ran into an issue where the Facebook comments plugin that I used to run that blog, it stopped working. It's making all my responses disappear. So right now it's currently down. I'm going to figure that out. But based on a lot of the videos that I saw, I'd like to talk about the concept of the dynamic shot. Now, a dynamic shot literally just has to do with movement within your shot. There's a lot of different ways that you could include movement in your shot, but for this video, I want to specifically talk about camera movement. I use camera movement to add another sensual layer to my shot. I use it to add meaning or emotion to my shot. I use camera movement to focus one's attention to a certain area of my shot, and then I use it to create proper shot composition. Now, camera movement should not be used as a crutch for mediocre acting, bad composition, or incomplete storytelling. But when used intentionally, camera movement can give your footage a way more professional look and create way more interesting visuals. Now, I'm what some may call a motion addict at the best and cinematically juvenile at the worst. I tend to enjoy more camera movement than less, and in every one of my shots, I know it's pretty bad, I like to enjoy at least a little bit of camera movement that's actually created there on set or created after the fact digitally. Feel free to input hate comments below. Josh, you're probably one of those idiots that like Michael Bay. Now guys, I understand the argument against the overuse of camera movement in the modern film industry. Overuse of camera movement takes away the intended dramatic impact that it wishes to give. It can be disorienting. It can take away from the narrative. My stance is, if your reason for including camera movement fits into the 4 initial rationales that I stated before, then give it a try. To a certain extent, it does boil down to personal opinion. Now, as far as the specific types of camera movement, apart from techniques like shaking cam, a smooth camera movement just echoes a professional look. One way is just using your hand. You can use your hand to create smooth, short, moving shots around a subject or an object, and you can actually put it into Premiere or After Effects and use the warp stabilizer to create very smooth camera movement. You can use a crane to get really cool aerials where you're swooping in and you're covering a lot of space really fast and you're creating really cool dynamic looking establishing shots. Unless you really know what you're doing, I would recommend buying a crane as opposed to building one yourself. Cranes are very heavy pieces of equipment involving moving heavy things around people usually, and any kind of structural failure could be disastrous. You guys of course know about drones. Drones are another cool way to create camera movement. When you're shooting with a drone, guys, make sure that you have smooth, continuous movement, no jerks. If you need to turn, make sure it's a smooth turn. A dolly is a traditional way of creating really smooth shots. Again, when you are a dolly grip, make sure that you're pushing this dolly so that you have smooth, consistent shots. Having a shot that's smooth with no jerks is more important than even how fast you go. There's a lot of DIY options as far as dollies go. In college, I used to commandeer the campus hospital's wheelchair and use that on shoots. I've had friends put cameras on top of pillows and roll them on skateboards. There's also numerous tutorials as far as building more professional looking dollies on the internet that you could check out. And lastly, you can use a weighted Steadicam-like device or an electronic gimbal Ronin-like device to create really cool shots. I just bought a Ronin M recently and I literally take it on every shoot I use. It's incredible all the different types of shots you can get with it. It's literally my one favorite piece of filmed equipment, and it was actually pretty cheap. It was about $1,400. Hey guys, I thought this was interesting. Check out this tutorial that Zach King made on making your own weighted camera stabilizer. Another side note, guys, I was posed a question recently that was actually really interesting. I was asked, what's the difference between buying or renting a dolly and dollying your camera back and forth in 3D space as opposed to just zooming in, maybe keyframing the scale digitally in Premiere? Well, the difference is when you use a dolly, which I prefer a lot more, you're actually going to see the perspective of the image change. When you just zoom in digitally, you're just changing the focal length, so everything's going to zoom in. When you use a dolly, the things that are in the foreground are going to move towards the camera faster than the things in the background, and you're going to actually have a perspective change, and it's going to look in my opinion, a lot more professional than if you were to just zoom in on the screen, because when you zoom in on the screen, everything just increases at the same rate. Hey guys, one thing that I ask my students to try is instead of cutting from motion to static shots all the time, try to cut from motion to motion and see how that looks. Now, if there's a reason why you're cutting from motion to static, like it serves the narrative or you're trying to do something as far as evoking some type of emotion, I get it. But one thing that my students never did was they didn't figure out how when you cut from motion to motion, it actually hides the cut in a really beautiful way. And it could be a really effective way to carry out your narrative that you haven't even thought of. So at least try that out. One last tip, one thing that I love to do is I love to shoot outside and use a long lens so that the background is compressed. I love to put an ND filter on the edge of my lens so that I can crank my aperture really low or really open so that I can have a really laser thin depth of field. Then I love to rotate around things, like whether it be a person's face or a person's hand or something else. And what happens with the compressed background that long lens creates is the compressed background zooms in and out of frame really fast, and I don't even need to rotate the camera around the object that much, because again, I'm doing handheld, so it can be hard to create a really smooth shot for that long. So all I have to do is go back and forth just a little bit. The background whizzes out of frame and it creates this really cool smooth look that looks extremely dynamic and professional. Alright guys, this is what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to start putting my project files up on luxuryleaks.com for sale for you to check out. If you want to purchase them, that's your choice. And what you'll have is you'll have my project files as well as all my raw files for a bunch of key edits that I've showed you guys over the past year, that I've had a lot of interest as far as people wanting to check out exactly how I did all the specific transitions, all the different sound effects and audio editing, all that stuff. So that's all going to be available for the next 2 weeks at luxuryleaks.com. All of the income that's generated from that website, whether it be these new project files that are now going on sale or any of the light leaks, anything, all of that revenue is going to be given to a couple that I know. They have no idea this is going to happen. This couple is a very old couple. They are homeless. I've known them for a while, for a few months at least. They live in downtown LA. So this is going to be kind of just a really big surprise. I'm actually going to make a video that's going to be a surprise video where we're going to actually give everything to them, just flat out. So thank you guys, please contribute, and thank you for watching the vids. Thank you for supporting, guys. I think we're at 17,000 subscribers at this point, and look out for new content. Love you guys. Hey, what's up guys, Josh here, and in this tutorial we're gonna figure out how to make text stick to the ground. We're gonna bring this text